Hi guys, what's going on and welcome back to the channel. I don't remember the last time I actually filmed a video in the garage down at the house because I am now up here so much because of that dude back there. But it's not entirely a bad thing. So I've got two engine builds going on in front of me that we're going to be working on today. Doing these engine builds and doing all this stuff is greatly benefiting the channel to set us up here in about 2 weeks or so. We have so many parts coming in for the 05 STI. We've got so much going on with the 17 STI right now. I don't really have any updates for it from fabrication yet. Kyle's still doing his magic with the car down there. But for the 05 STI, we have so much stuff about to happen. We've got the wrap, we've got the flares, we have the wheels down there. I just got done paying out front for the new short block setup. We're going to be building our short block. I have ARP case half bolts on the way, big APR wing, APR splitter, front lip, side skirts. There is, and more. There's like so much. Radium dual fuel pump. We have our ID 1700s. We've got our Cobb ethanol sensor. There is so much stuff going about to happen to the 05 STI, and doing this definitely helps fund it. Like, obviously, yeah, YouTube pays me, but it's definitely not as much as what people think it is. So doing these engine builds this week has been a huge benefactor in getting some of the stuff ordered for the 05 STI, so that way we can make it have oodles and gobs of power like we want it to. So with this one, let me show you what I got going on in front of us today and kind of the setup. You guys saw one, actually you've seen both of these cars that I'm working on already. So here's the other 05 STI that I've been working on. So I think the last update you guys saw is when I pulled the motor out of here. I've already got it rebuilt, put back in, pretty much ready to go. I should get this thing relatively close to being finished today. I've got to run some fuel line. We're waiting on the downpipe to show up. I got to put like the AOS in, a couple other smaller things here and there. I was gonna do the spark plugs yesterday, but Brian said we didn't have any, and then they ended up just magically showing up over on the other side of the building. So I got to get those in as well. So that one I want to try to get as wrapped up as possible. I've already got the turbo on there. I'm waiting on a couple like gaskets and whatnot to come in for that one. This is the one that blew the giant hole in the block like right around this area and launched everything out of it, completely melted the camshafts, everything like that. So these are brand new cylinder heads. I just got done building these ones. As you guys saw in the last video, we got the corrected parts back from Subaru. So I've got the heads bolted up to the short block, all that stuff. We're waiting on a Killer Bee oil pan, a whole bunch of stuff to come in for this one. But today I got to do valve lash calculations on this. You guys have seen me do valve lash calculations. We have no buckets in there because I have no idea what sizes we need quite yet. So we got to figure that out. But first, before I even mess with that one, let's get to town on this one. Let's start with some sparky plugs and probably the air oil separator. So I've got the fuel system pretty much wrapped up on this car at this point. We have IAG fuel rails, ID 1300s. Just got all of the fuel line made for this one. So both of our feeds go into the T, comes up, goes up to the hard line up there. Our return goes down to the fuel pressure regulator. Both of them tee off, go to the backside of the fuel rails right there and right there. Boom! Fuel system is done. We need to order a gauge, or we ordered a gauge for this one just because there's no way I can set fuel pressure, but that thing's like, it's not going anywhere. I was a little bit worried about if it would mount a little bit too loosely, but honestly, perfect right where it is. Now that I've got that, I've got this old crusty engine harness over here. Like, I thought mine was crusty that came out of the 05 KRAMA. This one's like crusty. There's some broken connectors on there and whatnot. So I'm gonna see what I can do to repair this to avoid having to have the owner of the car buy a brand new harness. A, they're on back order for quite a while, and B, they tend to get a little bit expensive. They're like 400 bucks or so. So where I can save money for someone, I will. So let's get the engine harness wrapped back in here. Once the engine harness is in, we can get the intake manifold back on. Then I think I'll do the AOS, and then we have a big ETS front mount that we got to put on this car still too, so it'll be fun. This will be fun. Lots of fun stuff. But I will say, it's really not too bad. I do enjoy doing these engine builds because A, it gives me more experience doing motor builds. Obviously it makes me faster, it makes me better, it makes me more proficient. Plus I feel like I can knock these out relatively quickly now, so I feel like I'm getting there. I'm getting there one day at a time. We're making progress. Let's get a crusty old engine harness in this thing. Like crusty old. So we have our engine harness back in. Something I do want to note, if you guys are doing anything with an older chassis like this and you have a crusty engine harness, do not bend it like left, right, like 90 sharp bends. Just don't do it. It's gonna end up damaging the wiring. Try to avoid that as much as possible. This one I had to finesse in there a little bit, especially around this back area back here, coming over the turbo inlet. You just don't want to bend them too much because it's just gonna end up degrading the integrity of the wires a little bit more than you want. But we have our engine harness put back in the car. I still have to plug in the 2 coil packs down there. One of the connectors is broken, so I'm gonna have to fight with that and zip tie it on. Whoever worked on the car prior had the same setup on there. If we're saving the owner $450 and it's still just as reliable as it was before, shouldn't have any issues with it. So now that we have our engine harness in, I can need to tuck that wire away. Now that the engine harness is in, we can go ahead and get the intake manifold put back on. I'm gonna get the bypass valve on there, the bypass hose valve guy dealio on there now, so that way I'm not fighting with it later with the intake manifold on the car. So we'll get that on, the intake manifold, and then at that point, I think the air oil separator can go on, and then we can do intercooler. And then we're just waiting on the downpipe to show up and some radiator hoses. So got the intake manifold back on the car. I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of myself. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, the first time I pulled one of these intake manifolds was on the 2017 STI, and you guys remember watching me struggle with that one. Pulling these on and off now is a breeze for me. It's a breeze. Like, the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and you find like all these little like secrets that make it a little bit easier for you. But intake manifold's back on the car. I guess we'll throw the AOS on at this point, get that knocked out. Downpipe should be dropped off today for this thing. If, like I said, if I had all the parts, I could finish this car today, but waiting on parts, as always. Stop making me wait on part.
Okay.
Nice
You guys
desk.
hear that? Let's go.
Everyone loves your Subaru coolant desk, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a new one to show up.
Did you order one?
Yeah.
Did you actually?
No.
Oh.
We have a big one over there. It's just I'd rather be out here with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, the coolant boxes work. What happens when you run out of coolant?
We're screwed.
We're screwed. No more desks.
Like TMG's going under.
No more. The mod garage is going out of business. No more coolant desk. So let's get the AOS installed on this thing. I think it's a V3 IAG AOS. Actually, you know what? I'll probably throw the alternator. Actually, no, I'll leave the alternator out for now. I'll leave the alternator out. We'll do the AOS. Then we'll like do some cleanup over here. I got to put a boost controller in here too. AOS first. Side note, before I install this in the car, you guys were asking me to do a install video on this IAG, this V3 AOS. This installs the exact same way as the V2 does. I have a video on how to install the V2. The only difference between the V2 and the V3 is that these coolant lines, there's no longer one on the top and one on the bottom. They're both on the bottom with these swivel banjo bolts. Now, some of you guys ask me, hey, which line goes where? Which one goes to the upper coolant reservoir? Which one goes to the turbo? It doesn't matter. You can put either one wherever you want. Those coolant lines, one of them goes right up here to the top of the turbo. The other one goes to the upper coolant reservoir, which I don't have on the car yet, just to give me a little bit more access to be able to get in here. But it really doesn't matter how you install them. The coolant lines can go either direction, and the install for this air oil separator is literally the exact same as the V2. So if you guys really want me to make a V3 AOS install video, I will record the next one I do. I will make a dedicated install video for this. Let me know, but the V2 install is the exact same. So I'm gonna take a quick stopping point on this. I got the upper coolant reservoir in, I got the upper AOS hose and lower AOS hose for coolant. AOS put up and the drain tube is back in, but there's a pretty cool STI outside. This thing's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
How much power are you trying to make?
It's supposed to be like rated for 700 wheel.
Jeez, dude, you're all bagged in. That's a big turbo. What turbo you say this was? A Garrett? Bro, you want me to move that AOS? I gotta take all that off.
That's why I sent you pictures last night.
Why did they? So this is Roy's car. Roy messaged me on, I think it was Facebook or something like that. Doesn't matter. He just got the car back from another shop and they shoved the AOS. It's back there. Like, there is no room between the turbo and that air oil separator back there. They put it up in the stock location where you'd put like a normal IAG one, but they did it with a rotated setup, which is really weird. Normally you put them up in like the middle area right there. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be fun, actually. That's not going to be fun at all.
Take off the whole.
I have to take off the whole turbo.
Yeah.
I don't have to take off the up pipe. Down pipe's got to come off. Turbo's got to come out. Oil feed line's coming off the turbo. Really cool looking setup though, dude. How much power you say? Mid 700s, high 700s?
I would say with the stock intake manifold, like 700s. Like low 700s.
Jeez.
Yeah, if I would get it tuned.
Are you just on a base tune right now?
Yeah, base tune 5 PSI.
Only 5 PSI?
Yeah.
Dude, that sucks. You want to rip around on it. You do a 1/2 inch head studs and everything like that, I'm assuming?
It's 625 ARB.
Dude, after seeing this rotated setup, it kind of makes me want to go rotated on the 05. I already have the Prefcesion 6870, so technically I already have a turbo for the car. So I mean, if we just got the rotated kit, I could just order like a 7675 for the 17 STI and the EG33 and just make the 1200 right away. It's a possibility. Jeez, already dirt on my face! How? I don't get it. So after seeing Roy's car out there, I kind of want to go rotate it on the 05. It's a possibility. We don't have to do it, but we probably should do it. I mean, let's do it. Let's not do it. I don't know. I'm gonna ponder that one. Let me eat a piece of pizza and then let's get back to doing this AOS install and then I'll ponder in my mind because we technically already have a turbo that would work. Just saying. So bright out here and the garbage man is so angry, but I just wanted to show you guys this really cool seeing like some of the engine builds come back. Like we have Jose's car, that white 06 Hawkeye that I just did. He just swang by to pick up some oil. I just wrapped up that AOS install on the 05 one that we're doing, but I don't know, it's just really cool to see the cars come back after I built them, see they're still running strong gladly and see they're not like dying or blown up or anything like that, but really cool to see. It's just really cool to see the cars come back. Sorry, I don't have my ND filter with me. I wasn't really expecting a whole bunch of people to show up today, but really cool to see that this one is still alive. Side note, that top mount while I still have that fresh in my mind, but glad to see it's still kicking. You're still kicking. So back to this one, we have the AOS nicely installed back here in the corner. Got all the lines like nice and tucked. I'm still waiting for the downpipe to show up for this one. Everything's pretty much like at this point, it's ready for the front mount to go on. I can wrap up this side. I can get the intake back on here just to get that knocked out. One less thing hanging around. I could probably toss the battery back in, but I'll probably wait till after I get the front mount back in the car. But glad to see this one's actually almost done. If Brian had the parts for me, I could finish it. And we got a nice, like, cute Doge. Hello, Doge. There's so many people up here today. So, let's toss the intake back in on this one. And then I guess next week I'll start on the front mount. Then I'll start on the front mount. So I've pretty much done everything I can do on this car today, at least. I didn't really get to getting the calculations done for valve lash on that one. I'll do it next week. It's whatever. It's no big deal. This one's pretty much wrapped up at this point. Just need radiator hoses, a crush washer for the power steering line. I'm gonna have to bleed the power steering system in this car. I'm definitely not looking forward to that. And then it's just getting the downpipe on and the front mount on. And then this car is good to go, is done, is out of here. It still blows my mind how quick I can like actually start to get these knocked out now compared to when we first did this last year on the 17 STI. It just blows my noodle right open. My noodle, Brian. So I am about to jet back down to the house, but I'm like seriously contemplating. After seeing Roy's car earlier, that rotated STI, I'm seriously considering doing rotated on the 05 STI. If we're tearing it apart, should we just go rotated and do it once? Do it right, get it done with? Or do I just stick with the FP Black and send it? I'm gonna have to sit on this. I'm gonna think about it on the drive home. Maybe we just go rotated. We could use the 6870. We could use the 6870 we already have. There's options. I don't know. I'm gonna go back down to the house. Bro, the drive back down here was awful. If you guys were in the live stream, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That drive down here was like 3 hours from the mod garage, and I ended up doing the live stream in like a random parking lot somewhere because I didn't want to miss the live stream. But anyways, we had a pretty successful day, I'd say. The parts are starting to roll in for KRAMA, as you guys are aware. I did end up ordering another one today while I was up at the mod garage. I ordered an AMS intake manifold for the 05 STI. The one that you guys have been seeing in the background is actually for Matt's car. I ordered the one that already is like powder coated red and whatnot, just because I don't have an oven or access to an oven big enough to be able to like strip and powder coat that. So we're just gonna go with the pre powder coated one. I get the pre pre-done one. So the next round of upgrades for KRAMA, engine related, ID 1700s, ethanol sensor, AMS intake manifold, maybe a rotated setup with the Prefcesion 6870. I still haven't fully decided. Do you guys want I could go either way. I really don't care at this point. I can afford to snag a rotated setup with all the engine builds that we're doing. So if you guys want to see a rotated setup on the 05 STI, by all means, we can do that. We can easily make that happen. Matt's got some exciting stuff going on also. I know he's going to mount he's mounting his Wed Sports right now for his Outback. So a lot of cool stuff is going on. Like I said, everything I'm doing up at the mod garage right now, you guys, is setting us up for the next couple of months worth of like parts, installs and whatnot. There's a ton going on. Like, as you guys are aware, modifying cars is expensive. So anything that you can do to snag side income definitely helps feed our addictions. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. I'm still heavily contemplating the concept or the idea of going rotated on KRAMA. I'm gonna keep tossing it around. Let me know your guys' thoughts. If you guys want to see a rotated setup, if you guys want to see something similar to that. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And the color of the day today is actually going to be red for the AMS intake manifold that we ordered. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to learn more about Subarus, or you just want to mess around with Subarus a little bit more with me while I'm still messing around with them, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Feel free. Smack that button. Push it. Lick it. Tap it, dance on it, do whatever you gotta do to it. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!